Alright, let's try this again. Let's try this again. Alright, let's try this again. Still too low in the audio, huh? See if we can get dual core to play. Not that. Shuffle, play artist. How does that sound? This is a test. This is a test. 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 Can you hear my music? Test. 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 Still no audio, huh? Still no music? Test. Still no audio, huh? Still no music? Still no audio, huh? Still no music? This is a test. We're listening to dual core right now. Test. 1, 2, 3. I'm talking about KiCad. KiCad's pretty awesome. Awesome. Test. Test. KiCad's pretty awesome. Test. Okay, mute that. Play that. Alright, looks like I get some viewers. So this is the first time I've tried this. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the shitty add-on. So I'll show how quickly you can do these. Let's see. So I'm actually from San Diego, and I'm part of our local DEF CON group here. And so for them, I decided I'd make them their own shitty add-on with Ron Burgundy. And there's a bit of a battle inside over whether it's 619 or 858. I'm more in favor of 619, so that's why we're doing Stay Classy 619. So this is the PNG I came up with the other night. I wasn't going to do that live. I don't want people really to watch me struggle with GIMP. But I will bring it up to show you the technique. And go ahead and put in chat if you have trouble hearing me or seeing what's on the screen. We're kind of testing this out as something new. But one thing you want to do with these designs is make sure that you have your different elements of the PCB split up in different layers. So here, I have the text, the shadows for the text. I'll actually treat those differently here because I want that to be silk screened. And then of course Ron Burgundy, the background and everything. The other thing too, it's important is to get this to black and white, and that'll help KiCad quite a bit. And we'll get back to that later. Let's go and bring up KiCad. So I'm going to go from scratch. Outside the artwork, nothing's really been worked on this. So go new project. I have the Ron Burgundy folder set up, so we'll go ahead and do that. No, it's fine. So when you create a new PCB in KiCad, thanks VI Gray. Struggling GIMP is almost as fun as struggling Inkscape. Yes, I struggle in both equally. Inkscape's actually a good tool if you have an image that's rasterized or has a bunch of colors. Really good way to capture it and get it into something you can work with, get the vectors out of it. If you recall our design from last year with the Bender S. Thompson, that's where I cleaned up a lot of the curves. Was able to remove some of the elements in the original artwork so it would look good on a PCB. So yeah, Inkscape's good. They work very well together. The end result should be, like I show you in GIMP, it should be those individual layers, and they should be black and white or dithered in some way. So go ahead and start with a brand new schematic. One problem with KiCad is it doesn't do a good job of maintaining the libraries. That's actually one of my big knocks on them. So every time I have to go in and add my libraries. So we have a whole collection here for this year's badge. So I just go ahead and add all of them, even the ones we prototyped with. I also apologize, the latest version of Ubuntu likes to add my little crosshairs, so you're going to have to deal with that until I can figure out why it's rendering those. So for this one, what I want to do is some of the groups are using the MCP 23017. It's a GPIO extender over I2C. And it gives you 16 I/O. I'm going to use that to drive 16 LEDs. I actually have an add-on here that I've already done that with. Let's see. Come on. Today, KiCad. There we go. Okay. MCP 23017. So some of us, like I said, some of us are kind of standardizing on this. This way, in theory, if multiple badge makers have written code to work with this add-on, that you can move it around and then the badge can decide what it's going to do. Ours will certainly support it. I've already got code that works with it. We'll see what others do. So here on the left you have two ports. You have the A port and the B port. Come on, Ubuntu. The A port and the B port. You have some interrupts. I'm not going to use the interrupts. This is just blasting out a bunch of LEDs. And then you have your 3 address pins. So between the 3 address pins, you can actually have 8 of these on a single I2C bus. Pretty cool. We're going to do 1 on this particular add-on. But in theory, I guess you could have multiple add-ons all on different addresses and then treat them slightly differently. my other monitor, I'm going to pull up a little reference schematic so I don't look like a total idiot while doing this. Okay, so the next thing we want to add, let's go ahead and add a decoupling capacitor. Oh, the other purpose of this, the DEF CON groups, they were kind of flippantly saying, hey, we want to do surface mount, you know, learn to solder kind of kit. It's like, okay, so this one's going to be all surface mount. It's going to be a solder. And we have Superset. Looks like Superset's watching in here. Hello, Carl. This is cursor thing's really annoying. There we go. And 3.3 volts. I haven't had to deal with this cursor issue because most of my designs have been done before I did the 1804 upgrade. Just had to go back for reference, so you get to watch me struggle through this and GIMP in one day. This is a treat. Alright. I'm going to pull reset high. Go ahead and copy that. And KiCad has some really neat shortcuts. They are different between their different tools. In the schematic tool, it's C for copy, and it's Control D on the footprint tool. So that's perfect. You know, why not be consistent within your own tool set? Also going to go ahead and add these tags here. SDA. So in my code I'm using the default address for this. Actually I can pull up the data sheet so you can see what it looks like. We have a bunch of data sheets here. Let's see. Not helpful. Not helpful at all. Let's see if A2 is in here. That might give me a better hint. Okay, so there you go. So, well, that's SPI. Not helpful. Alright, so I squared C addressing registers. So 0100, A2, A1, A0, and then you enter read write bit. I normally, in my code, I use the 7-bit value, and then when I go to read or write, I shift it over 1 and set it to a 1 or 0. So if you ever see on Hackaday IO or anywhere, I always reference a 7-bit. So that looks like it's a, I don't know, 2-0, and then whatever we end up putting here. So it'll be just 2-0 because I'm going to push all those to ground. And go wire. Okay, go ahead and tie this to ground, or slightly off. Okay, got some questions in chat. Hola, Twinkle Twinkle, and Twinkle Twinkie, and J. Deedle. Howdy. Sometimes I wish KiCad worked as well as Inkscape. Yeah, it's not a very high bar. Yeah, when I first started out with all this, I started with KiCad because that's what Jorge was using. Switched to Eagle because KiCad drove me crazy. Eagle didn't make any sense to me. Went back to KiCad, still had trouble there. Went back to Eagle, back to KiCad, so on. I've tried Upverter, Circuit Studio, whatever that is, the online one. But KiCad seems to be the most natural now that I've kind of forced my way through it after more than one afternoon. Alright, so this is going to be super simple. We are just going to drive 16 LEDs. I'm not going to do that fancy Charlie plexing stuff. Some resistors. This cursor is really annoying. Okay, and then for these I usually use what I have on hand because this will be a soldering kit. I have a bunch of 220 ohm 805 resistors. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. Man, that cursor's annoying. Let's see. There. That was only painful. Okay, so what I just did is I just dragged and selected those, even though it's not clear in the screen. When you have a block, you can, if you right click, you can copy it. There's no keyboard shortcut for it. And then just click. No, KiCad does not. KiCad does not calculate what resistors you need. And Bill and SD. Let me post that to our Slack. Actually, I did not post it to them. Here we go. Okay, paste it to those guys. Oh, you had to post the real link. Come on, the very legit link's more fun. Yeah, Twinkle Twinkie, totally agree. Chris's videos are a great resource. Yeah, Bill. I see you in Slack. Okay. You watch me struggle with bad rendering. Actually, I wonder if there's a... Maybe there's, sometimes there's a rendering option. Yeah. Wow. Okay, we'll go ahead and add the LEDs, and I'll see if I can copy these a little bit. So we're just going to drive them high here. So I just got to put a ground on the other side. Put ground down here somewhere. That works. Perfect. Anybody see that Vanilla Ice is going to play at DerbyCon? Jeez. Copy block. Get it down here. That'll work. Okay, there's another way to solve this. I will copy another schematic. Because this one's basically what I was trying to go for. Nope, not that one. Yeah, you can copy schematics, but it's very manual, and it tends to get kind of mixed up. If you don't have the same component library set up, it'll try to load off of cache sometimes. I happen to keep the same between those two, so it is okay. Okay, so I've got 8 there. Copy, and I think I can just drop that right there. Well, that's close enough. Control Z. This is really annoying. It's good enough. All the things. This might get a little bit more fun since I'm drinking beer too. Copy, copy, copy. So what's interesting is that very legit link that I posted, how many of you clicked on it? It looks like there's 18 watching. So 18 of you clicked it anyways. That's kind of funny. those are connected. Clicking on random links is my hobby. Good. Sandboxes are nice like that. Oh yeah, Chromebox, it probably works too. Alright, now let's dump all these to ground. Connect all the wires. Edge. Yeah. Why not use links? Alright, that wasn't too bad the second time around. MCP 23017. There we go. And now we just got to connect all those lines. As painful as it is. Oh, that worked. Okay, good. Let's do the next one. I normally talk to myself like this when I do schematics, so figured I might as well just let everybody else listen to me. And that one did not connect, did it? Nope. Okay, so delete that segment and that segment. Okay, there, port B done. Let's do port A. That's ugly. Thanks, KiCad. I need a better connection. You need a better connection, Bill. Really, I have 100 megabits down, I think 10 up. Let me see if I can maybe turn off some of my stuff. There. That worked good. Oh, come on. Okay, do what I meant, not what I told you to do. And there. They don't offer gigabit here, unfortunately. I think we get 200 now. I don't know if we get 80 up, but yeah, I'm stuck at 10 up right now. Good old Cox. Okay, so those are connected. Now we get to do the other parts that I already did once before, so exciting to see something you've already seen before. There. copy the ground component. We need to pull reset up. You can connect reset to a microcontroller, which I won't be doing here, but then you can actually flip the device on and off if it gets stuck in some mode, which is not uncommon actually. The other way to fix that is just to power cycle the device, which is what we will do if we have issues. Because this is not a high quality add-on, this is a shitty add-on. Come on. Rotate. There we go. On pin. You could do it, yeah, you could do a push button. But the use case here is it's not worth the money. I mean, I could throw them on there if you want to solder it. I don't care. Momentary switch, yes. I have about, I don't know, 300 or 400 left over from DEF CON 24. They kill your thumbs. Alright, so address pins down. I think I just have to decouple and then add the shitty add-on, as they say. So we'll throw a capacitor on there. Could do 2, but no. We'll do the ever common 0.1 microfarads. Yes, it worked. Okay, so that's a complete schematic. One thing that's fun to do if you're in KiCad, page settings. You can set the issue date, revision, 3.14, title, DEF CON San Diego shitty add-on. You can put comments and stuff. I mean, the only reason I do that is it puts it down in this little box that makes it look more official. And then you can spit out a PDF and people go, wow, that's cool. So for CapSense, you need a microcontroller that can do it. So with the shitty add-on, we only have I2C and power. I don't plan on putting a microcontroller on this because of space. But you need it. But if you had like an AT-Tiny 85, I think there's a library for that. I know there's one for the 816, which is my new favorite, or any of the PSOCs. That's all you need. They kind of hit or miss on whether or not they work, but let's see what people are saying. Nice. Garrett clicked on it in a VM. That's awesome. Okay. That's that. So next thing we want to do is assign footprints. So that's this little doohickey up here. And big problem with KiCad, don't do this on a plane because it goes out to their GitHub and downloads all the components every time you click on it. So it's going to sit here and just wait. And eventually it'll come up, so we can wait together. We do have plans for an add-on that will support CapSense. I'm not sure if it works though. Okay, so here's all my components. It assigned numbers to them, so C1, D through 16, R through 16, and then the MCP. I tend to keep my own footprint library. So ManBearPig, that was our project for last year. That was the code name. This year it's Mr. Meeseeks. It's public knowledge now, I guess, since everyone's seen the design. I filter on pin count, so that way you don't get all this other junk that we used last year in last year's library. And then you can just see, hey, here's the parts. Because I tend to remove silk screen. So in Stone Ghost's honor, and because you don't really need it, I'm going to make the capacitor 402. And then for the LEDs, let's see, I don't think I have any in my standard library. I have one that's, let's see, I don't use a lot of discrete LEDs. Where's the bagel pin? Haha. Let's see. Let's go LEDs package. So let's go with, let's make this interesting. So let's do some that are, see if you're skilled. We'll do the big ones, 805 hand soldering. You can actually preview the component. So you can't measure it very well in this tool, it's kind of crappy. It also tends to switch units because they like NASA or something. The left side here, negative 2.54, you can see at the bottom where my cursor is, over to positive 2.54, so it's about, I don't know, 5 millimeters across. And then if we show the normal 805, it's a little bit shorter. It's about half the size, so there's not as much room for your soldering iron to get in there. So we'll do 4, easy mode. We'll do a little bit more advanced mode, 805, and then we'll go 603 hand soldering, and then we'll go 603 normal. And then for the resistors, so you remember each resistor is tied to an LED. Drag that down. So I hope they number them the same. D9, great. They numbered them differently. D1. Okay, it looks like D9 through 16. That's an odd way to number KiCad. Thank you for that. Okay, back up to here. Okay, so the easy ones were 1 through 4. And we know that that is 9 through something. So we'll make these easy. So the resistors, they're actually a little bit different than an LED package. Let's see if I have one in here. Yeah, so here's one I did without the silk. I'll bring that up. So you notice there's none of that teal color around. Teal color around because I don't like it to mess up the PCB. I'll remove it from the other ones. You see how I do that. It's pretty quick. Let's see. Resistors. So they also have hand soldering variants here. So we'll do the first 4 in that size. Actually, I should go down to 402. Let's do the last 2 402 just to be. Okay, so the last 2 we're going to do 402. And then some hand soldering versions of that. We already did that. Yeah, Bill, Carl's right. The extra solder paste could cause problems. It will tend to pull heat away from the component, so it could cause it to place incorrectly. It's usually with pick and place, it's not very good to have too much. Yeah, more tombstoning. Yep. And the other thing I've learned recently is you should have the traces come out from the pad, not from the side, and they'll tend to pull heat away from the component, and it'll kind of like it pulls at either end of it rather than making it twist. But you only really see issues with that at high volumes. These can be done by hand, so it doesn't matter as much. So yeah, it looks like, if you recall, 1 through 8 and 9 through 16 were flipped, but the more advanced ones will have the smaller components. And now MCP 23017. So that, let's pull up the data sheet. I forget what package that's in. I should know this, but I don't. I believe it's SOIC. Okay, so this is the one I have. I have like 20 of these on hand. I'm probably going to buy more. So that's an SOIC wide 7.5 millimeter body. Carl's got to have something more interesting than this, like his own badge to work on, but so we gotta find where the SOIC packages are. Could try these DigiKey ones. I haven't tried them yet. I just add them to my library. No QFN hard mode. Yeah, by hand QFN's pretty painful. Should totally do that. I've replaced Netflix for the night. Interesting. What is... There's 28 SOIC. So the SOIC parts, they tend to come in different package widths. What's going on here? Yeah, DigiKey, that doesn't work. Okay, let's go to the standard packages. Housings SOIC. So 28 wide, and then they have two different, looks like body lengths on that. I should know this. So usually at the end of these data sheets they'll have physical measurements, and that's usually how I compare whether or not I got it right. Did I get soft? 1 second. Let me just double check some things I have here. I did not do dip, that's for sure. I thought it was SOIC. Let's see. So the pitch, 1.27, yep. 7.4 between pads. Overall length 17.9. Okay. Let me just confirm that what I have here. Oh, I use SOP 5.3, 10.2. Sorry, looking at my other screen. Okay, so we'll use SOP. That would. Okay. That is the correct one. Go ahead and make sure you save it too. Sometimes it doesn't keep. Yeah, I totally agree. Twinkle Twinkie, yeah, it does kind of seem advanced, and then there's just so many very poor UI decisions. A lot of people say that KiCad 5 fixes a lot of things and makes it a lot better. I haven't tried it yet. I don't want it to touch my schematics or my design until after DEF CON, and then I'll probably install the RC or whatever the latest is at that point. But yeah, it's bad. Okay, so we did this tool, we assigned all the footprints. And this is why it makes sense to me. So as a software engineer, I do the schematic, and that's kind of pure. It's, you know, I'm not encumbered by the parts yet. Then assign the parts, and then the next thing is to generate the net list. I do nothing here, I just say generate. I don't change any of the options, I always just, that's all I do. Other than here, I guess rename it so it matches. Okay, and then run PCB new. Yep, go ahead and create. Okay, so now we're in this tool, and we want to read the net list in. So that's the one we just made. There we go. Read current net list. Close that. Yeah, save the project, whatever. So it just kind of dumps everything on top of itself, which is okay. So going back to the beginning when I had the artwork up, we're going to go ahead and split those up. So Ron Burgundy, we'll bring him up in GIMP. I'm going to use a technique I just learned from Chris Gamel, actually. Okay, so one thing that Chris recommended was to set it at 1000 dpi. That makes sense, because what I usually do is I just kind of modify the DPI until I get the size I want, and you'll see that in a little bit. But at 1000, then if I go back and make a change, it's always the same DPI value, and I don't have to re-guess and then have things off ever so slightly. So we're actually going to give that a try. Go ahead and scale it. And we want it to be... oh boy. Okay, pixels per inch, so 1000 dpi, not 2000, 1000. And then we want millimeters. So if you recall in the Shitty add-on standard, we want somewhere around 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters, so that's 50 millimeters. If you remember back to elementary school. See if we can get point, I guess not. Okay, so that's 38 by 50. Go ahead and scale that. It's going to scale up. That's okay. We're going to lose a lot of quality when we put it into the tool, anyways. So now we get to export each one of these individually. So let's go ahead and export this one. This is going to be, so my plan for the board is a white solder mask with black silk screen. So that's what you're seeing here. We'll cut out the black, we'll do manual edge cuts because it doesn't do ovals, and so you have to actually tediously draw it around. Some people actually modify the XML and KiCad. I just manually draw it. It seems to work okay, and no one's noticed. You do an export as, and then what I start to do is give them names. So this will be the silk layer. That way I know when I import it later what to do with it. You know what? I do want the outline. Let's do that again. That'll give it a nice effect. There we go. Now the trick is to export it as the exact same size, so then you can line them up perfectly in the tool. You set the same XY value, and they line up exactly like you wanted to. So you'll have a lot of blank space in the footprints. Export at 600 to 1200. You'll keep that burgundy goodness. Yes, it just make sure you're consistent. I was not consistent before, so I'd have to remember. Oh, this was at 221, and this other one was at 432, and it was a pain. So the other thing we need to do is convert this to black and white. Let's make a white layer behind it. There. Off it to selection, make that black. There, because this will be our solder mask layer. And we want to export that as solder mask. Or negative solder mask, excuse me. Let's see how that works. Alright. Next tool, so we want to generate a footprint. And we want to do that with bitmap to component. Insertion failure. Nice. Continue, YOLO. Don't show it next time. That worked. Let's Hypnotoad. Okay, so here's the silk screen. So this is how it... See black and white, how it kind of reads it. Yeah, pretty bad. Resolution 1000. And then I just throw this all on my big... Oh, I forgot the add-on. Shoot. We'll have to add that in a second. Let me show you how to edit a net file. So, Ron Burgundy Silk. And then the next one we want to do is load solder mask. Front solder mask, front silk screen, yeah. Make sure it's the same DPI. Okay, so now we get to import it. We just search for Ron, and I'm gonna sit here and search itself, so I'm gonna drink some beer. Yeah, Modern Time. Oh, it's a good one. I had not Fortunate Islands. I had a good one yesterday. It was their Amber. Blazing Worlds. That's really good. No, I'm having Mission Brewery El Conquistador Session IPA in a 32-ounce bottle or can. So we'll see how this is going in another hour. Let's go ahead and search for Raw Burgundy. So silk screen. So did this turn out the way we wanted it to? No. Turned out exactly the opposite. Yes, 32-ounce can. You can buy them at Costco here buy 4 at a time. They come with 2 double IPAs, an IPA, and a session IPA for $15. So $3.75 32-ounce can of IPA. You have to be careful when you hit the double. And yes, I'm a hobo. See how the solder mask opposite too. So I got to fix both of those. Lovely. I never quite know what they mean by opposite or not. There. So you got to switch to the negative. There we go. Export that. Your solder mask. Save that. Yep. Replace. I'll do this. Switch it the opposite way. Tap water, 40 ounce. Nice. I prefer reverse osmosis myself. Delete these Now what's nice is once you search for it once, they show up in your recent, so we can just pull it up. There we go. Perfect. The purple means it's working. And that did not work. So let's go back to bitmap to component. Ah, that's the problem. Silk screen. Try this again. It's still backwards. No, that's right. That's right. Okay, so the trick I mentioned, because we set them the same size, even though there's like a lot of wasted space on this footprint, it goes out to the outside. If you give them the same XY coordinates, we'll just go 100. For once, it's a nice round number, 100, 100. Do the same here, and they align perfectly. Look at that. And then Alt 3 gives you a render. Not bad. So one thing I should do is I should actually cut out. It'll work if I were to send this to Osh Park, but I like the render to look nice. So I'm actually going to go all the way back to GIMP, and I'm going to subtract out that layer. So I apologize for the delay, but alpha to selection, delete, and then we'll delete it out of Ron's head as well. So now you see, there you go. Perfect. Export to, nope, wrong one, export. Since I accidentally overwrote it. Okay. Yeah, positioning's bad. If you see, once we release the Gerbers stuff, check out the silk screen on this year's badge for 26. It slows down KiCad to a crawl. There's so much detail in there the artist put in, it's ridiculous. So yeah, just if you have a chance, take a look. And so the positioning trick is nice because then I know it's always in the right spot, and I don't have to wait 10-15 seconds for it to move. Some more beer. Okay, let's import it yet again. Silk screen. That didn't work. Why did it not work? Maybe I didn't save it. It helps to set the DPI properly, by the way. There. Save that. Yep. Look at that. Nope. And now when I do a render, it should look good. Check out that. That's not bad. So that's what I was going for. Not bad. Okay. It's pretty cool in this tool. I'll just take a short break. You can actually change the silkscreen color, so a lot of places they offer white or yellow or whatever. So I did yellow silkscreen. Oh, it's putrid. I did yellow on the bench off nickel. Maybe yellow on black. Yeah. Let's go back to what it was. Solder mask. Go white. There we go. Next step. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to trace around the outside of this oval so we don't get this silk screen in there. And that's the edge cut layer and the line. I usually set my grid 0.05, maybe 0.1 sometimes, but 0.05 seems to work the best. And I'm just going to keep it, that's a little too far. I'm just going to keep it right on the outside. It's just kind of, it's a little bit of a guessing game. Sometimes you get slightly sharp edges where if you're really feeling along the PCB, you'll know that it's there. But this is just the kind of the quickest way, or the way I feel comfortable doing it, at least. It's also a good time to just sit here and click and drink. Cut through this tight area here. Double click to stop. Let's see if I can move that. Okay, so we're gonna go a little bit smaller in the grid. That's better. Important thing is make sure they line up. Notice how that kind of creates a darker circle in the middle. If it doesn't do that, KiCad won't see them as connecting, and then it won't generate the Gerbers properly. But more importantly, it won't render the PCB properly. Yeah, I know. Inkscape, export DXF. I've tried DXF. I've had so many troubles with it. So I just rather know that the edge cuts are in there right. So you guys get to watch me spend 10 minutes tracing the outline of an oval. Sure, SAR from Boldport would have some nice tools for this. I might go back and clean these up a little bit too. The best part is there's a nice 20-second time delay on YouTube, so I have 20 seconds less than you have to watch this. Ooh, I really screwed that one up. So one of the problems with that trick I showed you, the positioning, it tends to hide the component. There's invisible areas of the component, so sometimes you can accidentally select them. So like I clicked here and selected the silk screen even though it's blank. So you got to be a little careful with that, or just go in and lock the component so it won't move, or at least it'll attempt to warn you. There you go. Zoom out. Ah. Yeah, totally post your stuff on Hackaday. We've been pretty lame this year and haven't posted as much as we did in past years, but it's a great way to get publicity, and people just kind of want to see how you built it. It's amazing how much, how easy this is to do, and how much difficulty people have getting started. So the more information out there, the better. Okay, almost done. Going back up the bend. Almost there. Yeah, so that was kind of the idea. Brian Benchoff at the Linux User Expo back in, I don't know, March, February, something like that. He made a really good point in his talk, other than I think calling out Inkscape versus Illustrator, but he made a really good point in his talk about how this is kind of an entry-level way to get into badge life. And that's true. You don't have to worry about any of the power circuits. You saw like that schematic, despite the KiCad problems I was having, was very, very simple. So you can come up with something that does a lot and not have to worry about all the infrastructure, the power, those sorts of things. So it's a good way to open up the badge life community to a lot of folks. And who knows what they'll do, you know, in the future. Alright, so now I get to end this. So just make sure you get that nice little overlap circle. Double click. Yeah, so Twinkle Twinkie, that was you with the Pogs, like the NASA one and those sorts of things. Those are, if that was you, those are really awesome. If it wasn't, they're terrible. See, close enough. The other thing I like to do, not allowed on copper, drawings layer, add in a little measurement doohickey. This will help me in the future. So yeah, 49.7, so just under the 50 millimeter. Yeah, that's me, crusty. Yep, awesome. Yeah, the crusty thing is just terrifying. Edge cuts. 20 people are watching this. I'm an hour in. That's it. I said it'd take a few hours. Okay, something's not... Oh, it's just rendering the silk screen, but you can see there that's the PCB. Now I get to place components. Make sure we save. KiCad does crash. Cool little tool, F button. So I mentioned it was up. You know, they didn't really map to the schematic, but F on this tool flips it around to the back. So I like to hide my components on the back. And actually, before we go any further, I need to add the shitty add-on connector. So we're going to go all the way back to the schematic tool and add that. And fortunately, it's already... Did I not add it? Oh, I redid my components, that's why. So redo this. Yep. There it is. Okay, so we do have a standard component for this, in case anybody's wondering. Oh, Borgle's in here. I should figure out the XFs. Maybe next year, Carrie. But I don't know. Maybe I just like the pain of not doing DXFs. Okay, so that's done. Need to assign a component to it. Totally do a YouTube tutorial. It's the only way we get any better at this. Gotta learn. Actually, the best way to learn is to teach. Okay, so we have... There's our standard component. Save, close. Generate new no name. I don't know why it's doing no name. Yeah, save. Clearly we all like the paint, yeah. Do it on Twitch like the cool kids. We did Twitch last year for the solder party, but we now have these nice little Google and XOR accounts, so I figured I'd try this. So now, how to hide it without messing up the 619, because that's kind of the important part to me. Maybe I'll drop it on his nose or something. This to 100 because I know that's the middle. Thanks, KiCad. Nice little render there. Set my grid. I normally do things in 0.1. Just the edge cuts I do closer than that. Maybe the whole footprint. There we go. Okay, we gotta get rid of that 3D footprint. It's obnoxious. Fine. Move. Edit. Make sure it's at my right X value. No more 3D shape. Okay. How's that work? It's not so bad. Now they wanted surface mount, so I do have a surface mount variant of this. I can change it in here. Move, click, edit. I'll do the SMT version. There, now we won't mess up our thing, and people have to do surface mount soldering, just like I wanted. Bob Ross. Yeah, I have SMD versions. I have those headers on hand. I got them from China a few weeks ago. They're not quite as strong. They don't have the mechanical strength, but whatever. Let's just put this guy in the middle because we can. Okay. Any good ideas on where to put the LEDs? I haven't thought that through. Maybe do around the outside. Just like 8 here and 8 here. Because I can, I might as well just rotate it 45 degrees. LED is a halo. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Around the oval perimeter. Yep. Sounds good. I just don't want to... So one thing, I don't want to have anything soldering on the negative solder mask because people will be doing this by hand. They're messy and you can't really get solder off of that gold, nice gold color. So I'm going to try to keep it away a little bit. Yeah, disco LEDs like the 70s. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. The other thing too is I'm going to show you how to edit these if you haven't seen that before. Just footprint editor. Drag this up to the right window. So I do something really easy. I just make them invisible, or I put them down to the fab layer, which really confuses macrofab when we send stuff to them in that layer. They don't know what to do with it, but I'll delete those. And then because we're going to have humans doing these, I want to make sure the arrow is on, but it'll just be blocked by the component once it's actually soldered. So we're going to move the arrow up to the silk screen. .82 by 98, 70. Okay. And then it's an active library. We're going to do Mr. Meeseeks. That's this year's library. Control S. And then a cool feature in here. That's the one I just created. Change that, and then you can say update. Yeah, change that. Okay, we see 4 change, so now all those are goods, but we did do some different footprints. Yo. It's be on the front, and the silk's gonna be on the silk. So, yeah, good luck with that, guys. Yeah, I love the crusty add-on. .603 hand soldering. More beer. Oh yeah. You and Inkscape. Yeah, I need to get better at that. I wonder if a keep out area would work. Probably not. No, just those two layers. Okay, so R1 was tied to... Was it D9? I think it was D9. Check out how small that is. Wait, no, that's just the reference. Yeah. Let's try again. D5. Gotta spill these out. There we go. Do a lot of this footprint ending today, won't I? Fab layer. There we go. On the back side. Live and die by Control S. Oh yeah. I don't know if you can hear me, but the keyboard clicking is me hitting Control S even in KiCad. This guy's gonna go down here somewhere. Edit that footprint. Boring. Fab. Boop. There's a lot more editing of footprints than I expected I'd be doing tonight. Silk. Change footprints. How do you rotate where it wasn't 90 degrees at a time? Oh yeah, file preferences. I set mine to 15%, or 15 degrees. And the other thing, you can edit the footprint. I'll show you. I did do it briefly earlier. And they're in 0.1 degrees, so 1200 is 120 degrees. Why that was a decision they decided to make, I don't know. Must have been a good idea to somebody. What I'll do is I'll just have the cathode and anode kind of a line on the outside. Roughly place that right there. Hey, it's Bender! I'm looking for either probably D2. Just Control F it. Wow. Thanks, GuyCAD. There's D2. Throw it right around there. D3. D4. D6. I got D6 in there. D7. So Bender, when are you making your shitty add-on? A TLDW, too long didn't wait. Too long didn't whopper. Too long didn't... I don't know. Well, the TLDR is I'm like 26 ounces into this beer, so things are getting a little bit more interesting. Now we get to move these up. Yay! Do a little trick and add some little guidelines in here. Nice. Now what I want is D4 to be on that side of it. It's gonna be great. For those who don't know, Bender is the CEO of Not XOR. Try 700. Wrong way. Let's try 600. There's probably a mathematical way to figure this out, but Chief Expletive Officer. Yes, that's true. I am the CBO, the Chief Bling Officer. That one needs to move up a little bit. Chief Puzzle Officer. I see what you did there. Yeah, a lot of eyeballing going on here in KiCad. Trying to get the spacing just right. But the artwork does not lend itself well to that, so that's too much. 1050. Let's try 1000. It's better. Would have liked to do 4 on top and 4 on bottom, but this seems to work pretty well. Yeah, yeah, seriously, no one found the Easter egg yet. That's funny. Nice. I'm right up there with Witcher 3. I don't know what that says about Witcher 3, but okay, so we got first 8 LEDs on, footprints cleaned up. That's good. Those are the easy ones, and then the harder ones are going to go back up the other side. So in theory, if somebody's wearing this, you can easily tell how good they are at hand soldering. We'll see if that works. I'm not going to do a test run. We're just going to straight to production with this. I want it there. Yeah. A little bit, maybe 500. D10. Oh yeah, M is the move hotkey in KiCad, at least in this tool. Very handy. We have a component selected. You just hit M and it moves it, and it moves it based off of the footprint, not just the pad. And things won't align properly if you move by the pad. Okay. D11. Yeah, it looks about right. D12. What's great is that the order on these aren't quite right, I can just fix it in software and make it look right. That's too much. Let's go 850. M is dope until you have too much stacked and it's all about T, baby. What IC do you have in the middle? IC in the middle, that's the MCP 23017. That's the one we're trying to standardize with some of the other badge makers so that if you have one of these on a shitty add-on with LEDs, they will do some sort of pattern. Maybe not the same pattern, but we'll see how that goes. At least this one I gave to the other badge life people. They're really cheap. They're like 70 cents a piece, quantity 10 or something. So. There's an alternative. There's a Halbertech 74 or something or other. I have some of those too. Those are like very Chinesium. Even cheaper, and you can run 96 discrete LEDs with PWM on them. You see them a lot on Adafruit boards. Nice. Hiron keeps tweeting out the very legit link. That's awesome. Okay, D13. So we do need to edit that one. Move that down to fab layer. Delete our graphic line. These are getting smaller and smaller as we go around. That's what we wanted. Save it. Nope, no, wrong one. Wrong one. Cool. Changed all four of those. Let's go here. You know what? This footprint is not quite right. I need to add this. Yep. Silk. So I just added a footprint that I'm not going to change. So I just, to get the KiCad to accept it, just reapply. And there you go. They're all silk screen now. Let's see. Where do you order components? Yeah, AliExpress is really good. eBay is probably good backup. For common components that you see on like Adafruit or SparkFun, a lot of the ICs that they use, those are really good places for it. Otherwise, Mouser, DigiKey. If you are willing to translate Chinese, Taobao, and then you just have to go through a middleman, but you can get some really good deals that way. Yeah, China's hit or miss. You have to give them a long lead time. We've had a couple times where they just haven't sent stuff, so we've had to go through and do the whole dispute process. And the first one we did it with, they immediately said, "Oh yeah, we didn't bother to send it to you. Sorry, got a refund." The next one sent me a screenshot of my tracking information for a different tracking number for something that was delivered to Russia, saying, "Yeah, we delivered it to you, no problem." Like, no. And so I submitted my screenshot of the tracking information that it really was, and it had never been shipped. So they ended up losing that battle. Yeah, you save a lot, but you have to give them lead time. You have to expect that a certain percentage just won't get to you and be able to adapt. And they're not always, the quality is not very good. It's not always as good as you think it's going to be. Okay, D14. Yeah, it's pretty good. D15. Little guy there. Have to space these out a little better. Yeah, Felgon, you should totally dispute that if you even can anymore. Okay, D16. So probably the reason the spacing's kind of off on this is the ones on the right side are actually smaller LEDs. Problem is, I have a bunch of 805 LEDs. This means I have to go source 603 and 402 for this kit. So I'll be ordering from China soon. Okay. Let's see what this renders like. So for those who were not in the stream earlier, here's actually what it's going to look like. Gee, that looks pretty good. Flip that around. Make sure the air wires match up so I can reduce my traces a little bit. Footprint editor. More of this mess. These are easier. Save. Next resistor, R4 apparently. Looks like that one lines up here. And yeah, it's close enough. I'm not gonna... Oh, it actually needs to be on the back. Flip that around. Perfect. Okay. R8. Ooh, little guy. Let's see, that one lines up here. Flip it around. Good luck with that one, Stone Ghost. Sorry, looking at some chat. Okay, Print editor. Oh, wrong library. Okay, rotate that around. Oh, we lost a couple of viewers. Oh well, they're gonna miss the real fun. There's no real fun. Actually, I still have to route all these. No, we'll finish tonight, that's for sure. Edit. Okay, delete the lines because I don't like them on the silk screen. By the way, Macrofab gets mad when I do that. But I don't care. I'm not saying it's Macrofab. Matches, apply, yes, that should change 4, yep, good, okay. Another one to footprint edit, okay. No silk. Oh yeah, it is 1 a.m. Eastern, you're right. It is only 10 o'clock here, so I'm still got plenty of time. View blueprints, 603, no silk. Yep, matches, apply, yep. You're good, okay, let's go ahead and move. Flip around. Alright, R12. That's just a reference. Come on. Escape. We're going here. And footprint R2. This guy out of the way. Auto routing for the win. Yeah, there is an auto router in here. Kind of wondering if I should try it. I don't know. They'll probably like one of the things you're gonna notice once you get to routing the front. I gotta put keep outs on the solder mask because if any route goes through there, it just gets ugly. Right, line that up. There's another one. 6, flip, move, rotate. Too much. 11, move. No, that's just a reference again. Flip. Rotate. Drop. R9, flip, move. Rotate. See, once the footprints are all set and they have the silk the way I like it, it gets really quick. Flip. Hopefully I put them all in the resistors all in the back like I planned. I found a couple that were not. Flip, rotate. I think this is the last one. You should be able to put, yeah, I wish you could put keep outs on footprints. That would make sense, but you can't. Seem to be missing a footprint right there. Yeah, so those are the hand soldering footprints talked about an hour ago, and then the ones that are better for pick and place, more hand soldering, more pick and place, and then the elite 402s here. So it looks like a 402 got placed in the front. I think that one's fine. Yeah, that one's on front. Okay. I'm actually pretty happy with that placement. Yeah, I don't think this will be very bad hand soldering. I could probably do the whole thing without making it look too messy. I have a little bit more experience now, but it'll be kind of cool to see people, you know, you can work your way around counterclockwise and just kind of see how far people get. The hard part's going to be this first one at about 10 o'clock and then making sure you don't get any solder on the S, and then likewise the 1, 2 o'clock with the Y. But you know what? Have fun with it, people. And you can get these if you use all PCB. Order these by the 100. They're like, this will probably be 40 cents a piece for the PCBs, so it's pretty good. Okay, make sure I save that. Okay, so now we want to add ground plane. The ground plane is what makes the negative solder mask really pop out, and I'm just going to throw it on the. Make sure I go on the front copper. Ground. Throw it here. Boom. I don't really care that that's not a perfect square. I just care that it surrounds the entire shape. There. Okay. So yeah, we have solid ground planes because we don't have any routes yet, or to create current loops for us. Jazz flutes for little sissy girls. Jazz flute. Okay, so keep out areas because we like our art. This is a technique I picked up this year because we have some very detailed negative solder mask around the star, and then there's some around some of the buttons. Very, very detailed, very tight quarters for some traces to go through. Once you get your hands on it, you'll notice what I mean. But so I've learned to add in these keep outs of no tracks, no vias. We want copper pour because that's what's going to show up, but we basically just need to draw a just draw a little square here. Do another one here. We want front copper. We don't care about the back. what's cool about this keep out area is when we run DRC at the end, it'll flag any traces that happen to fall inside this space. That's good. The key is to use the tools the way they're intended and to get them to do the hard work for you. In the past, what I've done is I've actually gone back and manually checked all the keep out area or let's save that. As far as the rotation of this, I want to make sure I don't have too many crossing traces. It looks like I'm pretty much okay. These tend to be on this side and these tend to be on that side, so I'll keep this orientation on here. Okay. I'm gonna drop my go with a 0.2 track width. I think that'll be narrow enough for these. Yep. With these surface mount parts, if you're going to go pick and place, it's good to have a symmetric sort of, based on like app notes and stuff that TI have, it's good to have a symmetric traces leading out from it. From there you can do whatever you want. We're just going to go, we may have some crisscrossing here, so I guess I'll throw a via in early. Yeah, so if you look at my copper pour, regarding the keep out, if I were to show the copper pour, it's still there. If I run DRC, it'll re-pour the fill. Yeah, so they're still there. What it'll do is if I take this, if I take this trace and I drag it, G, D. Now I gotta go to the layer. But like, let's say I just decide, oh yeah, throw it in here, right? So it's dropping a V in the middle of this keep out area when I run DRC. The inside keep out area. Control Z that. Sometimes Control Z doesn't work in KiCad. I don't know why. Go around this keep out area and then bring this via in. This is where I'm going to show my how I'm sort of a novice. This is all kind of self-learned over the last couple of years, but go ahead and route this down. Probably a more efficient way to do it. People have more experience. There we go. Yeah, you can still place it there, and when you do push and shove, it'll actually usually pushes things into keep out areas quite a bit. So this is not a complex shape, but if there were kind of like little inlets and things like we have on this year's badge, I'll put keep out areas in there because it'll try to be efficient and then jump across edge cuts, which just won't work. So then the keep out area will catch the trace going inside. Oops, did not want to do that. Let's go ahead and delete that trace, start over. So the push and shove, turn that on in KiCad if you haven't done it yet. It helps clean up traces quite a bit when you're moving stuff around. Okay, next one. I'll just go straight across. It's ugly. Ugly. Better. Okay, so here I go. I'm going right, actually going through the keep out area. Lovely. Okay, so we'll just push this one out of the way. Go up this way. Try to keep the via out of the silk screen. I do plan to have these manufactured with tented vias, or plug vias, sorry, plug vias. So you shouldn't notice this. I think all my add-ons are plug vias. Let's have a look. Yeah, they're plugged. They look pretty good. Just really small little divot there for the via. Alright, pin 19. Where does that one go? Nowhere. Okay, 3 volt. Okay, get this over to 3.3. No problem. Actually, let's make this a little bit bigger trace once it leaves the thing. Be carrying a little bit more current. Unless that's the reset pin. Reset's 18. Yeah, okay, I can do a short one. Oh yeah, illegal sell on eBay? Sure. Probably won't work. Since I'm here, I might as well do it. Back silk. It's like crowdsourcing a shitty add-on. Oh, it's, you know, I as far as how much people pay for them, I've given up trying to understand it. I mean, we put a lot of work into these badges, so it's neat to see somebody paying $700 for one. I guess I could probably get one without as much. It's a lot less effort than how much time I put into it, but I don't know. Illegal for bench off to touch. That would be great. Not for use by Hackaday. What are you doing, KiCad? Oh, those are, that's right, these are much smaller. Let's go outside then. At the massive 805 components. Yeah, Hiron, when are you doing your fritzing add-on? Fritzing plus auto route for the win. It should be like, yeah, we finish your homework, yeah, but you should have silk screen on it that says like because Benchoff told me to. Right angles for the lulz. Almost there, almost there. Oh, KiCad, what the hell? I don't think chat's recorded. I know I'm being recorded, but I don't think chat's recorded. I think pin 9 was a 910. Okay. Those need a little fatter traces. 9 rolls. I like 0.5. It's a nice round number. Mathematically, I don't know if it's too much or too little. Should be fine. Go out here. Oh, it is recorded. Huh, nice. This is my first time doing a YouTube stream, so, you know, we'll probably do another one in the future on some other stuff. Alright, let's run DRC. I think it's all routed, but this will tell me if it's not. Track near pad. And a bunch unconnecteds. Boy. Okay. Unconnected X1 net 331. Makes sense. Let's go straight into that capacitor. Nice little, yeah, that's ugly. Hey, it's Peter. Let's run another DRC. Maybe I fix those. Heyo. Oh, net ties are awesome, by the way, for prototyping. Drop that into the ground pad. That should work. Do the same here. Set marker. Track near pad. What the hell track is near that pad? that helped things. Alright, that cleaned up the DRC error, so now it's just on connected pads. Oh yeah, I forgot to connect I squared C. Okay, well let's go connect those. Nice little spacing there so we don't have any crosstalk. I'm really over-engineering this for just shitty add-on. Right, down to just, yeah, it's usually a ground pad that's not connected. R5 net D13 pad 2 to D13. I probably didn't connect. Yep. Did not connect those. And then the ground pad, because I have massive current loops on this thing, and I'm not going to waste too much time fixing that either. Spec is shitty. That is correct. It took about 10 minutes for us to create the spec. I think if that, I think most of that time was somebody in Microsoft Paint. I think Elwood did in Microsoft Paint, the very first one. Now what? Come on. Is that better, KiCad? Do you like that? D14 at ground. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's no ground plane there. Oh, my music ended. Let's restart it. Actually, should have. Yeah, that should help with the ground issues. Damn it, D13, what the hell's going on here? That's D14. What's the bottom look like? Oh, that's why. Well, let's connect those ground planes. I hate doing this, but oh well. There we go. It wasn't able, so that I have split ground planes here. Yeah, good stuff. I wonder if I can, so yeah, I'll bring this, if I bring this up, it should, let's do this. There, that'll clean it up. And a little bit. More current loops, but not as big. Why is my LED always blue? Oh yeah, yeah, keep out area. Remember that? Let's put that above the 619. Make sure it's not. There you go. Save early and save often. Look at that, DRC passes. Ship it. Shall we see what this looks like on Osh Park? Oh, man, I should probably just generate the gerbs. Alright, so let's plot. I like to create an output directory for these. Edge cuts, mask, throw the paste layers in there. Protil extension, subtract, yes. Plot, good. Generate drill file, make sure it's merged, good. Output, drill. Compress. Yeah, it doesn't look as good on Osh Park, does it? Yeah, Osh Park. Woohoo! So how much is it for 3? Processing, come on. $14. Nope. Let's see. So the one we like is all PCB. I don't know, what was this? It was like, oh, I forgot to do a horizontal measurement. Let's see. Yeah. Drawings layer. Okay, 39 by 50, let's just say. So I do 50 of these, 2-layer. And then you gotta do immersion gold. It's 47. Not bad. FR4. Let's go white. Yeah. Okay, $1 a piece. That's not bad. And let's see. Choose USA. Make sure it's actually incredible. So that's estimated arrival time is on Thursday. Real PCB weight and all PCB are the same. Interesting. I don't. So the only problem with all PCB is They're based out of Shanghai, so it takes an extra day for DHL. I usually like Elecro, or Elecro's a little bit faster shipping wise, but they take an extra day on the actual PCB. Where's their... There we go, PCB. I don't need to do that. White, gold. It's interesting, they're not letting me pick the color of the silk screen. Yeah, it takes about 6 to 7 days. Elecro, because they're based out of Shenzhen, as soon as they put it in the mail, it's on a plane. But for some reason, all PCBs in Shanghai, it takes an extra day for it to get on a plane. I mean, not that I'm complaining. The fact that we can make these for, you know, $47 for 50 and they're here in a week is ridiculous. So quantity 50. $39, and then they add in another 20 for shipping, so 59 versus 47, not bad. But I think that's it. I'm probably just gonna push this into our Git and then order some. I'm not gonna order them on a live stream because it's too much PII. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.